Hey friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kaylee and this is Foodie Friday. So as you guys know, fall is just around the corner. I mean, we are literally days away from it being officially fall according to the calendar, and I'm super excited about sharing all of the fall inspired treats with you guys this season. So to kick things off, I decided to share my perfect pumpkin bread recipe, and this is such a great recipe to have on hand. It's quick, simple, and so easy to make. I grew up making pumpkin bread with my mom. It's like one of my favorite fall traditions. I remember cooking with her in the kitchen, me and my brother, and it was just a really sweet time. So I've made a lot of memories around this recipe. So I decided to take her traditional pumpkin bread recipe and healthify it a little bit. So I've created this recipe to be gluten-free and vegan. So in the video, you'll notice I do use eggs, but I've included a vegan swap for that below, so this recipe can be vegan friendly, and it turns out just as delicious. So I also wanted to briefly share with you guys that I have a fall recipe cookbook. I actually worked on this all last year and I ended up finishing it a little late in the season, so I didn't get it out in time, so I decided to save it until this year. So it is jam-packed with 35 different fall recipes that are exclusively in this cookbook. You can't find them on my blog or on my Instagram or on my YouTube channel. I've saved all these recipes and kept them special for this book. It also includes a baking swap guide, so if you are paleo, vegan, gluten-free, any of those type of dietary restrictions, there is a huge section in the book where you can see how to make any of the recipes fit to your dietary restrictions. So it's something really special. I worked really hard on it and I'm really proud of every single one of the recipes that are in the book. So I've linked that below as well, so you can check that out if that's something that interests you guys. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and get to baking. Okay friends, to start this recipe off, we're just using a few very simple, clean ingredients. So we're actually gonna start off with 2 1/2 cups of oat flour. You can make oat flour simply by adding 2 1/2 cups of dried oats to your blender and blending that up. I use regular old-fashioned oats, and I just use equal parts. So since the recipe calls for oat flour, I just use the same amount of oats. The next thing we're gonna be using is 1 cup of coconut sugar. This is just a great alternative to regular white sugar or brown sugar. So we're just using 1 cup of that, and then we're going to be doing 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, and 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. And then we're also going to be adding 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. This is going to give a very fluffy texture to our pumpkin bread and give us the rise that we're looking for. Then we're going to move into our liquid ingredients. So we have 1/3 cup of pure maple syrup. We also have our most important ingredient, which is 1 cup of pumpkin puree. This is not pumpkin pie filling. Be sure to get pumpkin puree. I can't emphasize this enough. Then we have 1/3 cup of melted coconut oil. And then we also have 1 whole egg. Or you can swap this out for a flax egg, which I have the directions on how to do that below. Next, we have our final ingredient, which is 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. First thing we're going to do is add all of our dry ingredients together. So taking your coconut sugar, your spices, and baking soda and baking powder, add these to the same bowl that your oat flour is in and mix these together. Just make sure that you don't have any lumps. That's basically all that you're doing here, is just getting a nice, consistent flour base. Once your dry ingredients are completely mixed together, it's time to add all of our liquid ingredients. So I usually just add everything into the same bowl and mix together. You can also take all of your liquid ingredients and mix them up in a separate bowl and then add this to your dry ingredients. It's really up to you, but I like to minimize as much dishes and as much cleaning up as I have to do. So I'm just going to add everything to the same bowl, mix it all together, and then we will have a nice sticky consistency in our pumpkin bread batter. One thing I would like to note is that this is going to yield kind of a thick and sticky batter. It shouldn't be so sticky that you're getting like clumps or anything. It still should be smooth, but I will say that oat flour traditionally causes things to thicken up a little more. So that's why there are so many liquid ingredients. So once you mix this, which will take a minute, you should get a very nice and smooth but sticky batter to add to your pan. Once your batter is nice and smooth, it's time to add into your loaf pan. So we're gonna take a 9x5 loaf pan. You can also do smaller loaf pans, and this will yield 2 smaller loaves. So if you'd like to make these to share for the holiday season, you can do that. But I would always line my loaf pan, whether it is nonstick or not, with some parchment paper. I also traditionally will grease mine too, just to make sure it comes out nice and easy. But pour your batter in there, smooth things around so it's all even. And we're gonna bake this at 350 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes. All right, friends, that pumpkin bread has come out of the oven. It smells amazing in my house. I'm so excited to get to eat this. I'm going to allow it to cool in the pan for about 30 minutes before I take it out. This will keep things, nice and set and keep that traditional round, fluffy pumpkin bread shape that we like to see. So I'm gonna store this on my countertop for about a week. If I want it to last longer, I can saran wrap it and put it in my fridge. You can also freeze this recipe and save it for when you have guests. I know I made 2 pumpkin breads today, so I'm actually saving this for when I go into labor, my family comes into town. I can pull this out, have this for breakfast so they can enjoy it with their coffee, or just have a nice little treat to have in the evening. So if you liked this video, as always, give it a like. If you're new to the Measure Me Whole family, please comment below so I can say hi to you and introduce myself. If you have not already done so, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on a recipe. I look forward to getting together next week where we can cook another nutritious and delicious dish. All right, you guys, see you next time.